The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, 8:30 a.m. Wednesday morning, 60 minutes to go until the opening bell. And, folks, we're going to have quite an interesting market this morning. It's already shaping up to be quite the interesting market. We'll kick it off with the S&Ps down 7 points right now. You get the NASDAQ futures down 165. On the positive side, you have the Dow up 55 points. And how about the Russell? Russell's up 2.2%, up 44 points. We have some action in commodities with gold down $14. We have crude right now up 1 penny above $50. We got to get to notes and bonds. Quite the story. We had yields right at about 1% right now. We were at about 1.03%. You get the 10-year off 15 ticks right now. You get the 30-year off a full point and 18 ticks going on right now. And what's it all have to do with? The Georgia Senate election race. Looks to be both seats going to Democrats. One race, they're still counting. When you get into the actual numbers here, when you look at the numbers and where we are, the race that's been called is Warnock defeating Loeffler. You're looking at about 50,000 votes there, 50.6% to 49.4%. When you get up to the other race, this race is actually the special election. This is the general election. Yes, what's going on is this is the special election. So this Warnock's going to have to run again in 2 years if he wants to maintain that Senate seat, because it's a special election. The last time it was up for grabs was 2016. Normally it would be 2022, but because the special election comes to 2020, this seat between Ossoff and Perdue, part of the general election, so whoever wins that seat is in Senate for 6 years. Quite a term, the Senate, in the U.S. Senate. And it looks to be right now at about 16,000 votes. You need 0.5% to trigger an automatic recount, which could come. But all indications, looks like Democrats will scoop the Senate. That will give them all three branches of government in terms of the House, not branches, because you got the judicial. But in terms of Congress, both houses, and then the presidency. And man, who would have guessed that the S&Ps come into the morning, within about 9 points of where we were yesterday. Tech stocks getting hit the hardest overnight. We pull up where we were. Results start coming in at about 8 p.m. Eastern time. Clarity gets gained. We go to a low of 12,491 in the NQs. We're up to 12,619 right now. Got to talk about Bitcoin. Not sure it's impacted by the elections, but maybe so. You saw Bitcoin charging higher. I mean, impacted in some fashion for sure. When you have yields, you have currencies moving in a big way. Bitcoin rises to 36,095. We're currently trading a hair under 35,000, 34,915 so far this morning. And as I mentioned, notes and bonds, quite the story. We saw an acceleration of 137.06. We're currently trading at 137.12 right now on that 10-year. In terms of what else we have going on, pulling up the yield right now of that 10-year, we're looking at a yield of 1.017. That's what we're looking at, 1.017%. The other number this morning, as if we don't have enough going on, how about private payrolls decreasing 123,000 in December? The market was looking for a 60,000 gain. That is the first decrease since April. We're not supposed to be decreasing jobs for months, folks. We're supposed to be adding jobs as we come back from a record decline. Not exactly what's happening as we're seeing COVID cases spiking. This ahead of the non-farm payroll number that we get 48 hours from right now, Friday, 8:30 a.m. Not a good indication for that number. Now, talk about the variables in play, right? So you have to look at how does this play into a potential Senate controlled by Democrats, potential stimulus. Things might even be worse than we expect. We're going to find out, folks. We're going to find out. But all of those variables playing into the market so far this morning. And as you see, the volatility not ending anytime soon, folks. Just even zooming in on the S&P. We've been chopping around between about 37.20 and 36.90. overnight. We were up to that level on 2 occasions at 2:40 in the morning, right back up there at 7:15 this morning. The lows we made at about midnight also made those lows again at 4 a.m. And we're currently kind of right near the middle of that zone right now on the S&Ps, trading at 37.09. All right, just going to jump around to some of the stocks and see where we're at this morning. So as I mentioned, FANG stocks getting hit this morning. Amazon shares trading at 31.67. We were yesterday at about 32.18. Microsoft shares down a bit as well from 2.18 to 214.45. Apple shares down to 128.61. You're down about $3 on Apple shares. Google trading lower as well, down to 17.13 from 17.40. Both parties interested in some antitrust action. Democrats probably going to go a little bit more aggressive against some of these companies in the tech sector. Facebook shares down to 264 from 272 overnight. Now, with rising yields, as you may expect, the banks having a great morning for themselves. JP Morgan up almost $4 to 129.15 from 125.65. Citi up as well to 63.32. Bank of America trading higher to 31.82 from about 30.40. Again, we talked about, the cannabis stocks rocking as you may expect. Expect some cannabis legislation, folks, on the federal level with Democrats if they control all 3 houses. That final Senate seat looks to still be potentially out there to be called, but all indications, folks, are that it's going to go Democrat. You're seeing Canopy this morning up about 11% right now. We took a call on the air at 10 o'clock yesterday. I said to the person, I hope they did, maybe start a small position. Don't wait for today, because if Democrats scoop it up, you're going to see these stocks accelerate higher. That's exactly what you're seeing. Tilray shares trading higher as well from about 9.50 to 11.15. Aurora up this morning, as you may expect, up to 11.47. Huge percentage moves across the board there. You know what else is up, folks? Tesla. It don't stop. Tesla shares trading higher. All-time highs today. It's a rocket ship, folks. Not slowing down. You put Tesla on a daily. We're going to open at 764 today. And, man, all that volatility, when it got added to the S&P, you were up to 695. We're going to open $70 higher in Tesla today than where you were when that volatility hit for the add to the S&P. It just don't stop, folks. Pretty remarkable in a big way. Some of the stocks I take a look at, we'll take a quick peek. Disney shares, pretty calm action at 178. Really interesting to see how all the variables play into some of these equities in terms of, potentially higher yields, potentially more stimulus, potentially greater regulations on some of the big tech stocks. Potential tax increases at the corporate level as well as for wealthier Americans, all on the table in a big way, folks. Checking out gold. Gold was higher. We've seen a dip beginning at about 5 a.m. from 1962, actually accelerated at 7:30 all the way down to a level, and I think that might have been the ADP number. I'm not sure, but I think it could have been, I think ADP might have been out at like 8 o'clock. Nonetheless, gold spiked to below 1930, almost a $30 run from highs to lows, currently trading at 1937 as we get some higher yields that could weigh on gold. You could make both arguments, actually, as to which way that plays, but nonetheless, we'll see it play out. And the NASDAQ, quite a pop off the lows. You're talking about, what are we approaching? Yeah, more than 100 points, about 120 points from where we were at the 12,500 mark. But I imagine we're going to get some action in about 15 minutes on the opening bell, folks. And there's your Dow, trading up at 30,317. We got the Dow positive, and we got the Russell up 44 points right now, reached 2,039 in the pre-market for an all-time high in the Russell 2000. Stay tuned, folks. We got lots to go over when we get right back.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Brien. Are you looking to buy or sell gold, silver, platinum, coins, or bullion? We can help. At Tiger Precious Metals and Stones, we specialize in the buying and selling of gold, silver, as well as collectible U.S. and foreign coins. We not only buy your unwanted or broken jewelry, but you can trade that in for gold and silver coins too. Call Andy now at 727-329-8245 for a quote over the phone and to lock in the current market price. Call us now at 727-329-8245.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar's worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We have the S&P's minus 11, NASDAQ minus 186. Going to jump over to the VIX real quick. You get the VIX this morning at 2473. Relatively calm and giving up all the gains that we had post-election, which you may expect. Not really the low volatility that a lot of people would have expected, though, following both those seats unexpectedly, at least unexpectedly. When you go back to the November election, folks, this was supposed to be an easy one for Republicans over the last 60 days. We all know what happened over the last 60 days with the president, and you're seeing the impact in Georgia, and you're seeing the impact on the Senate. Mitch McConnell will be in the minority. And things play out, and the market is within 10 points of this morning. You pull it up, folks, even going back to an hourly on 20 days. You can't even tell that we just had a presidential election. We had a Senate election that swung the Senate in this part of the chart. We've seen volatility on whether that was back. What day is this? Talking about December 21st. That was the real first indication of the new strain of the virus in the UK. That was that selling right there. We rebounded quickly. We saw quite a little sell-off to start off January. Maybe that was a little tax selling. Maybe that was a little bit of election jitters. Maybe that was COVID. Nonetheless, folks, it's almost unchanged on the volatility that we had last night. We'll see if that holds again in the morning. All right. In terms of what stocks we have going on, as I mentioned, some of the stocks you may expect. We have United Health. They have their own transaction going on. Walgreens is selling its Alliance Healthcare business to Amerisource for $6.5 billion in cash. Now, Tesla, as we talked about, they got an upgrade from Morgan Stanley to $8.10 a share. It might be at $810 by the time 9:45 rolls around this morning, folks. So Tesla's up again this morning. You have Bank of America on top of higher rates coming out. Deutsche named Bank of America a top pick based on a positive outlook for bank stocks in general and the idea that B of A has a strong cost controls, solid capital returns, and other positive factors. BAC is up along with every other bank this morning on yields rising. Solar companies gaining as well as Democrats potentially controlling the Senate, possibly implementing more alternative energy-friendly policies. That may be helping Tesla as well this morning. Alibaba, they're planning to raise at least $5 billion through a dollar-denominated bond offering this month, according to people with knowledge of the matter. One of the people said the offering could potentially raise as much as $8 billion for the Chinese e-commerce giant. Been in the press a lot. Baba shares, you see the action, 236, falling out of bed last couple of weeks. This is an hourly going back about 20 days. December 23rd, they clamp it down on Jack Ma, down to 211. We're at about 236 right now on Baba shares. Wells Fargo said it was notified by the Office of the Comptroller of Currency that a 2015 consent order related to anti-money laundering compliance had been terminated after the bank took steps to remedy related issues. Wells Fargo, that's the only bank we actually didn't pull up. They got a double banger, as in they got that one yesterday, I think, and trading higher with the banks on a higher yield. We just traded from $29.40. We're up $2 from where we were 24 hours ago to $31.57 for Wells Fargo. You put it on a 5-year weekly, though, it's got some work to do. It's been quite a fall off from 66 going back to 2018. I believe this might even be worse. No, that was the high. Okay. 66 really falling out of bed with the scandals that they've dealt with for the better part of 3 years, because that high was January of 2018. It's January of 2021 right now. Okay, so let's see. Apple, they paid out 179% of its targeted bonuses for 2020 after remote work boosted its profits. So Tim Cook, cash bonus for the year, how about $10.7 billion, in contrast to a drop in 2019, pretty much pennies to Tim Cook with the type of stock options that he has for that company. Jumping through what else, not a ton of dramatic stuff going on, and looks like we already have earnings. Is that right? Cal Maine coming out with 25 cents a share. Market was looking for 8. All right, we'll jump around to what else we got going on. All right, let's take a look at this S&P as we pull it up. We're going to put it on the daily. Now, something to consider, and I've gone over this in terms of my newsletter with certain equities, is the Fibonacci retracements. It might be possible, folks, when you start to move quickly. Dave White has talked about it a lot on his show that, tops, I think it was Jesse Livermore he was talking about, tops don't usually come in one big hoopla where it's just a cascade and that's the beginning of lower prices. It might be an escalation that slowly builds. I only bring that up because surprising, with all the talk of taxes and regulation, that the S&P is almost unchanged at these levels. But when you start talking about just the natural retracements that are possible within an acceleration higher, even for the last 2 months, folks, we just traded from a price of $32.25 up 550 S&P points over the 2 months. You're talking about potentially another 140, 150 points where you're at a 382 of that run. Not staggering. Something to keep your eye on as we hit that. Some of my favorite equities out there. Disney I talked about. Look at the retracements that are possible in Disney when you go from 117 up to 183. 158, folks, that would be. That's a solid $20 below where we're trading at right now. Uber, so many of these companies in the last 2 months between the election and between the vaccine efficacy coming out, Uber trades from basically 33 up to 56. You're talking about potentially $47. Quite a big day for Uber to the upside yesterday. You're basically flat right now on their shares coming into the opening call session. Just jumping around the indices, the Dow, quite the channel line for the Dow, kind of hanging right near these upper boundaries. You could call this quite a consolidation we have going on here, though, and we'll see where we break out. The Dow showing some strength, up 48 points today. And technical analysis, an art, not a science, folks. Maybe you call that its consolidation area. And this morning, we're trading 30,338. We did have that run higher to as high as 30,691. We'll see if we can get back up to that level as we look to that opening bell. All things considered, remarkable, folks. And then you get the Russell, of course, breaking above that channel line. A nod to our man Bud Rolfs. Folks, look for this Russell, because what do? We broke above the channel line. We came back and retested it, and we just shot out of the gate to the upside, folks. We're at 2021, the highs of 2039. We eclipsed the high we had of 2032 from December 28th in the Russell. Taking a look at gold, giving back some of the gains, but gold Quite the acceleration as well since December, from 1784 to 1939 this morning, and checking back in on notes and bonds. Now you're looking at, we're reaching this consolidation, folks. We've made it to the 1% mark. All right, I'm going to activate that. I'm going to extend this out, and we got to extend the bottom of that line because we're breaking the lows that we've had. And if we get below this level, you could see an acceleration because we have not been below that level since June. We did reach that in the 10-year, but not quite that run, as we're at 137.10 right now in that 10-year for trading. And we got to take a look at the VIX. I mean, we got a lot of action coming on the opening bell, folks. As we always know, overnight trading, not quite an indication when people have to come to the realization that we might see some legislation for corporate taxes, personal taxes. It's going to be potentially 50-50 in the Senate. You have moderates like Joe Manchin of West Virginia, many others, I'm sure. So doesn't mean that maybe it'll be as far left as somebody may imagine with a 50-50 split, but still, Democrats with complete control. And we get the VIX at about 25. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back to finish up the show.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab. Bam!
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&Ps minus 10 points right now. NASDAQ futures off 191. Dow off 53 points. And Dow positive by 53. Russell positive by 43 in a big show of strength. And what else we got going on over there? We'll check back in on this jobs data. So a big number this morning in terms of a decrease of 123,000 for private payrolls for the month of December. You also had the prior month revised down slightly to a 304,000 gain. Markets were looking for a gain this month of about 60 to 75,000, depending on what you're looking at. And you get into it, folks. I mean, you're talking about a big drop. Service employment fell 105,000, led by a 58,000 decrease in leisure and hospitality, and a 50,000 payroll drop within trade, transportation, and utilities. Payrolls at goods producers decreased 18,000. The overall drop was also concentrated in business, employing more than 1,000 workers. Small firms shed 13,000 employees during the month. ADP payroll data represent firms employing 26 million workers in the U.S. Pretty decent sample size ahead of Friday's non-farm payroll number. All right, folks, we'll see where we end up. We got 35 minutes to go until the opening bell. We got our man Larry Pesavento coming up next with Trade What You See. Very interesting morning, to say the least, folks. We get the S&Ps. Calm action overnight. I tell you, I woke up actually about 4 in the morning, and I saw where S&P futures were, and I said, oh, Republicans must have won at least one of those seats because the S&Ps are off about 5 to 10 points. So I imagine that there's nothing too dramatic going on. I could not have been more wrong. Looks like the Democrats have secured those 2 seats. Last one set to be called, but looks like it. And the market has shaken it off, folks. We're off only 14 points this morning, trading above 3,700 on that news with the VIX trading at 25. Stay tuned, folks. We got a man Larry Pesavento coming up next. I'll be back at 10 o'clock with Tom. We got oil numbers coming out at 10:30 this morning. Oil right now holding above $50 at $50.08. We got gold right now down $17 at $19.36. We got Fast Market at 11. Basil Chapman, Steve Rhodes, Dave White, Tom O'Brien, all live this afternoon. Stay tuned, folks, for an interesting day in the markets. We'll be right back.